Happy Friday. Today is Ask Rachel Anything, and we've been getting a lot of really great questions in. So just know if I'm not answering your question today, I've started kind of a document. I've been writing down all the different questions so that as we go through each Friday, I have, a list of things that I can go through, and that way if there's not something that comes up in a certain week, I can just kind of go back to the list. So we're going to go in the order of kind of as they've been received. And this week's question comes from Jill in California. I was talking to Jill a couple of weeks ago. She was trying to kind of pick my brain on some sustainable apparel brands that she could start shopping at. And she was telling me about a couple of different places that she had been finding. She was really excited about a couple of pieces. She was wearing this like super cute little like linen romper. And she said, I'm super excited about this romper. I bought it because it was marked as vegan. And then I received it and I saw that it was made in China. And so her question was, is that bad? And I'm not going to go into a political stance on this. I'm going to take this question from more of like a professional industry standard, something very technical. I've been to factories all around the world, South America, India, Asia, Europe, and in the US. And I can confidently say that actually the number one factory, the best quality, the cleanest, the most well-run, one of the most ethical factories that I've ever been to was in China. And I still recommend this factory to all of my clients who work with me today. If they're ready to kind of go to the international shipping level, they're ready to start hitting some larger minimum order quantities and producing at a larger scale. I still work with this factory quite a bit because they just don't do a better job. Like there's no place that can do a better job that I've found. They're really great with costing. They're really great with working with you. They're really great about thinking outside the box. If you need to figure out how to hit a target cost, they'll help you source fabrics. They're constantly adding new machinery, upgrading their machinery, adding new ideas, adding new methods of things that they do. And at the same time, they are also always updating all of their facilities to be more and more sustainable. So on the flip side of that coin, I have been to some China factories that are not at that level for sure. There have been a couple of different facilities that I've been to in China specifically that once we saw them in person, we did decide to no longer manufacture with them because things were very dirty. One of the keys that you want to look for, one of the best ways to tell when you first walk into a factory is the floor clean? The best factories in the world will make sure that they have a method for cleaning up scraps and making sure that all of their trash is being disposed of properly. When you walk into a factory and there is just fabric scrap and thread and trash and dirt all over the floor, that is usually your first indicator that you're probably going to find some issues with the factory. They're just not at the level that some others are. So it runs the full gamut. And you as a manufacturer and as a brand, it is your responsibility to check that out. I know right now it's not super easy to travel all the time, especially if you're on a tight budget. So going overseas, visiting a bunch of facilities and making sure that they're clean and of quality and ethically and sustainably working is not easy. You can ask for a vendor manual. A lot of them will have like a factory profile and they'll be able to send you photos and information on how they run their facility. Now, of course, these documents are going to be made to make them look like they're producing in the best light possible, but there are some things that you can look for there. So if you're working with a professional developer or professional product or production person, they can help you look at that factory profile or at that document and help you maybe pick out some things if maybe they're not quite right, help you ask and get some of your questions answered properly and in a way that'll help you understand that. Because it's not just necessarily, certain countries trigger certain people because of things that are happening in the news, and I totally understand that. But this happens also all over the world. There are great factories that I've been to in South America, and there are not so great factories that I've been to in South America. And the same with India. Europe is usually pretty high quality. So I actually haven't ever been to a bad factory in Europe, but they are very expensive to manufacture, and because of their high quality and because of their standards of working, how much they pay their employees and those types of things. So if you're out there looking for sustainable apparel, or you're looking for eco-friendly or ethical brands, and you see a label in their garment that says made in China, just know that that doesn't mean anything bad. There are definitely good facilities and bad facilities. If you are really interested in understanding where they're manufacturing and if they're using ethical practices, you should always feel free to reach out to the brands that you're shopping at. They will almost always have a contact me page or some way of getting a hold of them, whether that's on social media or through their own website. And if someone can't get back to you and explain to you where they're manufacturing and how often they go to visit, or some of the higher quality and sustainability methods that their factories are using, then that could be a red flag. At the same time, I can't speak for everybody's customer service, so that's not necessarily a given. But don't hesitate to reach out to these brands. A lot of them are happy to give you the information that you're curious about learning. And so if you've bought a garment and when you receive it, you have a couple of questions, definitely reach out to them. There's no problem with that. They hire customer service teams for exactly that reason, and they want to hear from you. So good, bad, or ugly, it's their job to answer your questions and to make sure that you're happy with your purchase. So again, don't be afraid if you see something that's made in China. If you have, a political stance on that makes you not want to see that, then that's a different discussion that I'm not really going to get into here. But I will say, technically and industry-wise, it is not a bad thing. Again, my favorite factory and the one that I work with the most and the one that I recommend the most is in China. So if you're more interested in hearing about that facility, let's say you're a brand and you have been manufacturing and you're looking for a really high quality manufacturer or factory to partner with, please feel free to reach out to me. You can comment factory down below, and I'd be happy to chat with you about their facility and all of the work that they do. They specialize in performance apparel, but they also do a lot of outerwear and wovens and other knits. So they kind of do it all. And again, they're just the best of the best. I love working with them. I'd be happy to share their information. In the meantime, have a wonderful weekend ahead. I hope the sun is out where you are. It's finally poking out here. We've had a bit of a gray day, but the sun is starting to think about it. So enjoy your weekend. I will be back tomorrow with my 30-day live challenge, and have a happy Friday.